So guys, we're fishing in the wind today, but it is the Oregon coast, so it's pretty expected. What's going on, guys? Nick here with Angling Addicts, Pacific Northwest. Today we're back out on the Oregon coast. I'm going to be fishing Barview Jetty again today, but today is going to be a different setup that you guys don't usually see me fishing out here. If you guys follow the channel, I'm usually throwing some jigs, maybe a 3/8 ounce up to a 1/2 ounce. Really kind of depends on what the tide is doing. This rig that I'm going to be going with today is kind of my fallback when either I can't find fish with the other setup that I usually fish with, or if I just want to target something a little bit smaller, like some striped perch or some Kelp Greenling or something like that. So to get things started, I'm fishing with an ugly stick today. It's an 8'6". It is rated for a 1/2 ounce to 1 3/4 ounce, 12 to 25 pound line, and it's a heavy rod. Now I've got that matched up with an Okuma Stratus, and on that it's got some 30-pound braid, and it's going to be coming down to a little snap swivel because the rig that we're going to be using today, we're going to be able to easily put on, take off, adjust, put bigger weights, smaller weights, bigger hooks, smaller hooks. We're going to fish with some sand shrimp that I went and pulled up earlier today. I found a really good spot that, my goodness, you guys, you can just load up with sand shrimp. So that's going to be the setup, what we're using for rod, reel, line. We'll get out on the jetty. I'm going to show you guys exactly how I use this setup. We'll do some fishing, hopefully catch some fish so I can show you that this rig does work. And maybe if we catch some fish, I'm going to keep at least one of them, and we'll maybe just go do a roadside catch and cook, because I know Barview Jetty is on limited hours. That's beside the point. Let's go fish, you guys. Let's go fish. All right. Well, I know I've tied this rig up on another video, but we might as well knock it out really quick because I know there's going to be plenty of those that are out there. I don't like losing line. It's just littering, in my opinion. So we're going to pull out. You know what? I would say grab out, just if you're going to try and follow along with this, just grab a good section that's probably about 3 or 4 feet long. And the reason we're doing that is just so we have a little bit extra to work with, because it's always better to be a little too long than it is too short, because it's easier to fix too long. So basically we've come to the end of our line here, folded it in half. It's probably about 6 inches or whatnot. And so line coming from the rod over here, looping, going back out. So we're gonna put one finger in the end. This is gonna kind of help keep things tight. Middle finger can come up to the middle, because that's going to allow you to then pinch it. So you've got your little loop there. So now we just want to put all of this, what we're pinching here and what we're pinching here, into the same hand. So now you've got like this little bow tie looking thing. We are kind of losing that line, but so with this little loop we got here, we can put our finger through it, twist once, twice, and then I try and get it big enough that I can pull my finger through there. The idea is we want to get that other loop on this side. So now that we do, we just pull that tight. And what it's done is given us this loop at the end. Now you can make it smaller, but if you guys are new to maybe doing that, the reason we're doing that is to simply put our weight on there, and I will show you guys that at the end once we finish all this rig up. And one of the reasons I would say to go with a loop that's just big enough for what you need is we're still going to have some loop exposed, which is going to have our weight on there. And so you've got this loop that's going to have the ability, to kind of catch on some of these spots on rocks, which in the end could break you off. So what we're going to do is now go to the other end, and we're just going to do that same thing. And the reason we're doing that is because that'll make it a lot easier if you've got like a swivel. Let's get it fixed up so you guys can see what's going on. What are you doing? You see you've got the swivel clip on the other end right there. And so that'll allow us to, had I made up like I usually do, some of these rigs, maybe 3, 4, 5 of them, prior to coming down here, when you break off like that, you can just pull out a new one, put it on your clip, slap on your weight, and get right back to fishing without having to spend too much time when it could be prime time fishing. If you're prime time fishing, obviously you don't want to be spending any time trying to fix things. So you can see with this one, obviously you guys always want to wet your knots when you do these, but I didn't. There you go. Nice and tight. Clip you off. Trash into the pocket. So that now leaves us with this section of leader from there to here. So we're about 3 feet long right there. So this is going to clip onto the top of our rod. This is going to have our weight looped through the bottom. And so now we want to put a loop on here that we're going to end up putting our hook on. So I'm just going to go up so many inches from the bottom, and you guys might have to do this a few times before you get it right, especially for the placement of your loops on there where you're gonna be putting your hooks. So we've got our section of leader right there, and we're just gonna make a loop. Wrap it over, grab here, grab there, put our finger in between, and we go 1 wrap, 2 wraps, 3 wraps, 4, and I'm gonna do 5 because I think one of them didn't really count there. So like I said, we're gonna grab that bottom piece and we're gonna pull it through all those loops we just did, those little wraps we did. So it comes through. There's our wraps right there. We're gonna pull it tight. So what we did there now is we've got another loop coming off in the middle here. So this is the really cool part about this rig, and this is why I always recommend, these things suck, man, oh my goodness. If you're doing this kind of fishing, to do this kind of setup, because it works so simple. Besides, this part's gonna be a little more tough. So now we've got that loop that's in the middle. We're not gonna worry about the end. We're not gonna worry about the top just yet. We're gonna wanna come down and pinch your line. Let's get it right there, to where it gets small enough that you're going to be able to feed it through the eyelet from the back of your hook. Sometimes it's easier said than done when you've got tiny hooks with a tiny eyelet on there. You're just going to want to put it in through the back of the hook. Get back to where you guys can see, there we go. So our loop's coming in. So now I'm just holding it by the top and by the back of the shank here. And so we can just grab that loop that we're just put through the back of the hook there. We're gonna grab that and run it down so our hook comes out. So we're gonna get that out of the way. And we're just gonna take our hook and pull. So what it did is just cinched up down on here, and to get it back off, all you've gotta do is loosen it back up, and you can pull this back off, hook comes off. And what's nice about that kind of setup, you guys, is say I'm out here and I'm targeting these little striped perch and the little Kelp Greenling and stuff like that, and then I wanted to use this same type of setup for catching black bass, and I've actually even caught some lean cod that way. All you got to do is swap out that smaller hook for a bigger hook, and you're good to go. And if you've got, maybe like how I was throwing a 1 ounce weight down here on the bottom, say the tide changes and now you need to throw on a heavier weight, we can simply pull off that weight that you've got on there without having to cut anything and not having to tie anything back on. And like I said, just being able to get back out on the water, and that's really important, obviously, for trying to catch fish. So now here we are at the top of that little rig that we did. Hook in the middle, hoop at the bottom. This is our small hoop that we're gonna click onto our swivel here. So that just goes on, and we're gonna close up this barrel swivel here. Oh my goodness, it's really bright behind me, guys, sorry. All right, so that's on, our hook is on. So now we can come down, and the 1 ounce so far has been working. And until it doesn't, I think we're just gonna stick with the 1 ounce. I think that one was a 1 ounce, that might have been a halfer. So it's gonna be the same thing that we did with the hook up there, is we're just gonna pinch down. Let's get it so you guys can see. So we've got that little loop, we're gonna pinch it down, This one's a lot easier, obviously, because the eyelet on the weight is much bigger. So we're just gonna slide it through, pull it, and now you're gonna put it around the weight, grab the weight, and so you guys can see that cinch there and how it works and why it is a nice rig to have while you're out here. So that one just has the one hook on there, but obviously what you can do, especially whether you had a longer leader or how I did on that other one, I actually wanted hooks a little bit closer together so that presentation was more visible. But you could simply take that leader, and even if I wanted to switch it up right now, I could come down here and I could tie that same loop that we did for right there, and we can go to a double hook setup down here. So all right, let's try this again. I think we're gonna go just a hair further this time. You can see that bow in the line. Now it's kind of straightening out, and our gear should be moving to the left, but there is just enough weight on there that you can see it's just slowly working its way back to us. And then once that bow begins back in there, if it's not a good breeze of wind that just came through, there we go, it's hitting bottom. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. I feel you. There we go, guys. There we go. One of those, when I said, when you feel them pecking at it like that, you really just gotta pull them in. Yeah, I would have put money on that, but that was gonna be a striped surf perch, or striped perch, which are some really cool looking fish, you guys. I don't know if you saw the last video that I had done with the catch and cook, and that's actually a really nice one right there. Got him in the bottom of it? Oh, looks like we got him in the bottom there. Yeah, you guys, really cool looking fish, man. You guys can see the colors on that, maybe if I do it that way. Those cool blues on there, the nice stripe that are on there. And like I said, you can see its mouth right there. Not very big. So, I mean, I can maybe get my, get my pinky in there. So we're gonna let that guy go. I knew that's what it was, man. All right, well, it hit the shrimp, or what was left of the shrimp. There wasn't really much on there. I think I'm gonna just pull all this stuff off, and then we will redo it. Maybe, you know, I'm gonna leave that bare bead up top, because I'm really curious if we can get something that's gonna hit that as well. All right, guys, so that was just on one of these sand shrimp. Oh, if you guys saw some of these, if you guys didn't check out the well, I don't know, everybody's not into clamming, but I did a clamming video when I was out getting these things, and like, you don't always need big sand shrimp. Here come, should almost let you come out by letting you pinch me. Look at the pincher on that, you guys. That is gnarly. We're gonna get this guy out so you can see him, because I do need that smaller one. I'm gonna set these down. We're gonna go up there. But there were easily a bunch of these just really big sand shrimp in there. And as I had brought up there on that video, that these sand shrimp, you guys, are an amazing bait if you're out here fishing on the jetty, whether it's for surf perch, or as you saw, the striped perch that are over here. You can also catch a lot of Kelp Greenling on these as well. Usually with the Kelp Greenling, though, their mouth is a little bit bigger, and so the hit will feel the same, but you very seldomly lose those fish. In fact, they almost swallow the hook. And so let's get this little guy strapped up and send him on vacation. I'm trying to stand where the wind isn't going to blow into the mic on this thing. Let's see, so I'm going to show you guys how I usually just do this. There's a little dark spot just behind the head on these sand shrimp, and so I always try and take the point of the hook and run it straight through it. Now, you guys just saw the mouth on that fish, and so being that this is such a small hook, instead of trying to get it all worked up on that hook, I actually, when you can do it without ripping the shrimp apart, is pull it through the shrimp so the shrimp is up on your line, and then I just kind of push it back to where he's back to the close to the shank and the eyelet right there, and I'll tuck the tail right over the tip of the hook, and we'll just get it on there, and we'll tie it on there, because tying it is pretty much what keeps it nice and straight there. So we definitely want to have the barb exposed, but that is about it. So we're going to run him up the line a little bit, so that's kind of what stays on this hook a lot when everything else is kind of getting ripped apart. We've just got some of this spider line right here, which I highly recommend if you guys ever fish with bait, whatever it's for, use some of that, because it really prolongs the life of your bait. There's so many times, and we'll start at the head right here, that you can throw out, and every cast, you know, you're having to replace your bait, because either it's getting stolen by the fish, or it's getting pulled up against the rocks there, and just being on there loose like that, it's a lot easier for them to come off. So as you can see, I started lower on the body, and I'll definitely alternate as I go up, knowing that this thing is probably going to get picked apart quite a bit, and any of these shrimp just by themselves are going to be too big for these striped perch anyhow. So it's not too bad, you know, to just, losing my words, guys, that's what you just want to strap this thing on there, so when they are picking at it and ripping off little chunks, there's always enough on your hook to come back. The one thing you do not want to do is go directly over your hook, because obviously it's going to help impede the fish being able to bite down on it. So now we're actually going to go back the other way just a little bit. I want to reinforce this fat body down here and finish off at the top, and I kind of do it right at my fingers right there, because this way when you pull like that, you're just pulling against the line or the eyelet, you're not actually pulling tight on the body. So there's just a little ball. Let me give that guy a shot. We'll just throw this back in the pocket, and we'll get out on the water. Alright, let's get this one out. Kind of a sketchy spot to stand, but of course that puts us back into the wind. So maybe I'll back up a little bit here. A little more line. A little more line. Why is it going that way? Of course, now I can't see my line and what it's doing. Yeah, I definitely want to stand back where I just was. There we go. There's a bite. Yeah, there's definitely, you gotta let them nibble some of that stuff off though. Oh. I mean, it's super exciting, but it sucks when you get hit over and oh my goodness. I don't know if you guys can see the tip of my rod here, but you'll see every time it hits down there. We push him away. There we go. There we go. Oh, we pulled it out of his mouth. There's a hit. And down there just grubbing on that thing. There we go. There we go. Those dudes you got, oh, there we go. So this one, ooh, is a little kelp greenling. We've caught quite a few of these guys out here. This is a nice little small one. And I could see why it was, get over here a little more for you guys. Let go of the bait. I can't take the hook out if your mouth is like that. You gotta open up a little. Give me something, buddy. Can you? Oh yeah, you can. You're just being stingy. Just being stingy. But just a, I'm gonna try and keep them from don't flap away, buddy. Yeah, see that little guy right there? Pretty cool looking fish. In fact, I gotta say, that little dude is cute. Hey guys. All right. There you go. Go grow up, make some babies. All right, so what that left us with, bait-wise, you guys, is just this little bit on the end. You guys just saw how much I put on there and how much we strapped that on. And that fish still managed to get a bunch of it. Now that guy's got more teeth, I think, than the little striped perch have. But the striped perch got some little teeth too. And they got enough that they can obviously get in here and start ripping your bait apart. There's some hits. There we go, guys. There we go. What's it gonna be this time? What do we got? I'm going striped. Oh, winner, chicken dinner. Another slab of a striped surf perch, guys. Now, I won't lie, I was out here for a bit yesterday and nobody was catching fish. Ah, you got little sharp ones. I forgot we're gonna let you go. Dude, that's a slab, you guys. That is... Oh, you're still at my goodness. All right, so these striped ones, you guys also have the pointy tops like the black bass do. But I'm sure, I already showed you guys one of these, so we don't want to keep them out of the water too long. You can see that is a slab of a striped surf perch, again, with this really cool striped perch. I always say surf perch. Another cool looking fish, and definitely good eating. I did a catch and cook video with a striped perch and a kelp greenling quite a few months ago, and it made for a really good meal. I ended up doing some fish tacos with it and just did some really easy fish tacos here again out in the bay. So I'm curious, we've got very little there. Probably even easier to see here. I don't know if I really want to waste any time seeing if that works. I think we're just gonna take that off and go fresh, because that seems to be getting the fish. Still no takers on the bead, but that is not a big surprise. So I'm just gonna do it back up the same way I did on this other one, because obviously we're 2 for 2 right now. Let's see if we can keep that going. All right, guys, all shrimped up, ready to go. Oh, caught myself in my crappy pants. There we go. There we go. Oh, jeez, Louise. I'm trying to get my proper footing here and dang near lost my balance there. All right, we're gonna do what has been working. See if that still works for us.
Is it like later than I think or something? Because our tide has changed. What happened to slack tide? It's like we went instantly from incoming to outgoing. There we go. Ah.
Kind of in this little cubby right here. But I'd rather be fishing, there we go, directly in front of me, not... I mean, it's a good little fighter. It's got some force to it. I always just crank these things in because I don't care. Oh my goodness. There you go. That's a really nice kelp greenling, guys. That is a nice kelp greenling. Gotta get turned around here, since I did kind of put myself in a precarious position. Anytime we're out here on the rocks is just kind of a tough time. Anyhow, as you guys can see, we got another one right there. That's a nice kelp greenling. It's got the pretty blues on there instead of those reds. Just a nice clean hook right into the corner here. Now there's a lot of baits out there that kind of mimic these fish, and the reason being they don't have all those spines that the other ones do. These guys are nice and soft, those are nice and soft. These little fins on the side are nice and soft, and so it's not one of these fish that'll cut you up every time you grab it. But that there again, you guys, is a beautiful little kelp greenling. So that rig works. I mean, we could sit here and do this all day. It'd be really fun. But also obviously want to cover some of these other rigs that'll work out here But I don't know if they're going to work that well right now because, like I was saying, it's kind of, you want to switch up the rig that you're using based on what's going on out here in the ocean. And that rig that we've got right there will work all times, whether we're at slack tide, incoming, outgoing. It really just kind of depends on how much weight you have on there and its ability to be able to hold on the bottom, so it's not sweeping along the jetty floor here, which is obviously littered. Got fish pooped on me. Which obviously is littered with boulders and all these things that have barnacles and all that kind of stuff on there. And so yeah, it'll work really well. But I think if I were to try and throw out like one of my little swim baits or something like that, I would be having more difficulty because I would just, it's going to be swinging left to right, right to left, depending on what it is that the current or the tide is doing at the time. All right. Yeah, I was thinking I want to throw a little more to the left or whatever to let it kind of fix this current thing, but it seemed to be working where it was. I'm gonna give it a little bit more, get it to just get down there quick. I think that was bottom. I think we hit bottom. Yeah, it's either tapping against a few rocks or getting a couple little nibbles. It feels like nibble. I think it feels like nibble. But it is seeming to be moving a little bit on us here. I think we're on a rock actually. Is there a fish on there? Oh my goodness, you guys. I didn't even feel that. Is it still there? Yeah, it's there because our line's running that way. Oh, it's a little baby again. Ooh, just another little baby kelp greenling. Now, I don't know if I finished that thought on the kelp. Oh, dude, no, you swallowed it? Did you? All right, little buddy, hold on a second. I got something. Then I'll finish that thought, guys. You can check out this fish while I grab my pliers real quick. All right, especially being so small. Whoa. I don't want to kill a little baby. If it was a bigger, oh, and then he locks up on me. There we go. If it was a bigger fish, we'd just keep it and eat them. Here we go, buddy. The whole sand shrimp. All right, we're gonna get him back in the water. Looks good. Moved on. Let's give it another go. Oh yeah, this should be moving further down by our rock where we're kind of, yeah. I was gonna say right there where we were really getting on the fish before. Oh, that's a nice stripe perch right there. Might have to start keeping a couple of these guys. A striped perch might be a good way to start off. So, get your spikes down. All right, well, even though that could have been one that I could have just let go, we're gonna keep this one and we're gonna cook him up. Bonking him over the head, it kind of popped his eye out a little bit, but that will be good eating. All right, you guys, we are no kidding down to the nitty gritty. I don't have a whole lot of stuff on me. In fact, when we rinse this fish off, I'm gonna rinse it off with Gatorade because I did not stop and get any more water. So we're just gonna get this fish cleaned up here really quick. Gonna go through its little butt between these fins. In fact, I don't know if I really even need to do that. If I wanna expedite this, let's just get in here, get down. Not the best fillet knife, but we are roadside, so I'm not too worried about it. Looking for its spine. And now we're gonna run down its spine and hopefully avoid its guts that I'm not taking out right now. Oh, that stove's gonna be nice and hot for us. This is actually, it's an ugly job, you guys, but I'm getting the slab that I need here. It's actually working all right. So this way, I'm kind of going around its guts that are all there. As you can see, we didn't puncture anything, and I'm just riding down this spine here. It's not the sharpest knife, and I've used it for all kinds of things. All right, flip it upside down and just go right to the tail. Oh yeah, this is definitely ridiculous. All right, there's a nice little piece. Guts did not break. Spine. All right, flip them this way and run down that spine. There we go. Oh yeah, you can hear that bone right there, right in the middle. We're just riding right along the top of that, working our way down. Almost there. Like I said, it seems like a lot of work, but it's actually turning out just fine. All right, there's our slab. There's our bony fish. We really didn't waste much at all, guys. I'm happy with that. Just gonna set it off to the side right now and give this a quick little, oh, we need to turn that stove down. Let's go ahead and do our quick little Gatorade rinse here. Should give it a interesting flavor. Oh yeah, works for me. All right, well, we definitely are ready to get some oil in this pan. It's the last of that Myers infused stuff that I'm always using out here. The last time I think I used that was with lingcod. I think with this fish, we're gonna leave the skin on that side here, and we're just gonna go skin down first. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh yeah. Now we're gonna throw on some of the seasoning. All right, well, I decided that lemon, the Meyer lemon stuff was not going to be enough. So I threw in a little half stick of salted butter here. Some of the finest from the Tillamook Creamery. Give these guys a flip. Oh man, now these things are swimming in it. There she is, plated up, guys. That looks pretty delicious to me. All right, you guys. Well, that was a down and dirty, very dirty catch and cook. Oh, but they're just falling off the bone. Somebody's here to watch the sunset just in time. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna finish this up. Thanks for joining me again today. I love the feedback I get from you guys, all the comments, all these different things. I really appreciate it. It's really my motivating drive behind going out and doing these kind of things, and getting that positive reinforcement from you guys is really a great feeling. And there's nothing better than being able to come out and do this and share these experiences with you guys. But until next time, you guys, best of luck. I hope to see you out on the water.